Most companies treat events like one-night stands. They show up, they perform, they leave. But what if your events could compound? What if each one made the next one easier, stronger, and more valuable? The best events don't just happen, they multiply. And our guest this week doesn't run one-offs. He stacks returns because the best event strategy isn't a one-hit wonder. It's a greatest hits album. It's Event About It with Martin Fretwell. Hey everybody, welcome to Event About It. I'm your host, Megan Martin, and our guest this week is best known for helping B2B companies turn events from one-off moments into compounding growth assets. He's the founder of Event Driven Growth, where events stop being a calendar obligation and start behaving like part of the business. Because the best events don't just happen once, they stack. Welcome to the studio, Martin. I'm so glad to have another Martin here this week. It's going to be so fun. We've got some tricks and things planned. I'm so excited for this episode.
Heck yeah, me too. And did you say another Martin because you've had a Martin in the past, or your last name?
No,
reference?
you're the first other Martin that has joined the show. Like, I think some point I need to have like a whole season of people just with Martin in their name.
I think that's a wonderful idea. It's a great name. No word of a lie. I've got a friend called Dewan who I went to school with, and he literally found every his name at Gmail that he could find. I mean, we're talking 30 years ago, so there were fewer.
Sure.
And just emailed them all and said, "Hello, fellow Dewans," just to see what would happen. So you never know what might come from an experiment like that.
I might have to just reach out to a bunch of Megan Martins. Okay, well, Martin, I'm super glad to have you on the podcast this week. We have so much in common to talk about. But one thing that I don't know that a lot of people know about you is that you used to be in a rock band and you had long hair and wore leather pants, like full 80s rock band. Like, tell us about this time in your life, because it's so hard for me to imagine that for you.
Yeah, and I put rock down as the safe one, but really it's heavy metal. I have been into heavy metal for as long as I can remember, but it's a specific type of heavy metal called power metal, which is very so it's not your rah, 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 rah. It's like uplifting and powerful and power chords and major chords and stuff like that. So it soars. And so, yeah, with that look comes long hair, leather pants. And yeah, so I was the front man on stage for this band for a couple of bands over my time, but science, nature decided that long hair was not going to stay with me forever, and I've had to make peace with that.
Hey, it all hits us at some point or another. So thank goodness you made peace with it. And we're so glad we're going to bring some music back into your life with a game we're going to play today called One Hit Wonder or Greatest Hits.
Okay.
So I'm going to throw out some real event strategies, and you have to tell me, are they one hit wonders or part of a greatest hits album that actually compounds over time?
Okay. Let's see.
No long explanations, just call it the one line of truth. So first up, we have a $150,000 booth with no pre-event outreach.
One hit wonder.
One hit wonder. An annual flagship conference with 0 regional feeders.
Ooh. One hit wonder.
Interesting choice. Okay. Executive dinners run quarterly for the exact same ICP.
Greatest hits.
You think those compound? I would agree. I actually agree with that one.
Yeah, I don't want to kind of give an explanation because that kind of feels against the thing, but...
Well, you can give a little one. You can give a little explanation.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that's how community is built, for sure. Like, if you've got a repeat structure and you're inviting like 25% who've been before that will bring new people, I think absolutely.
I would agree. Okay, this one actually goes on what you just said. An event series named, branded, and repeated every quarter.
Yeah, greatest hits.
Agreed. A killer keynote that never gets reused as content.
I mean, one hit wonder with a but. Because there's nothing ever fails, right? You can always learn from something. So it always forces you to grow and become something new. Every experience does. So one hit wonder though, because yeah, you don't want to have it in the dark.
Okay. Events measured only by attendance numbers.
Oh God, like what's doesn't even make the top 40. It's not even a one hit wonder.
It doesn't even
Like
make the top 40.
that's the track that doesn't make the album. That's awful.
Okay, sales invited to the event but not involved in the planning.
It's circumstantial. It's so circumstantial. Ideal world, you'd want them involved. So I'll probably go one hit wonder. But
Okay.
perfect scenario.
It could be a greatest hits.
It
with
could
their
be.
Okay.
Yeah. It's kind of what I just remember working with somebody whose entire sales team was compensated in such a way that they just wanted to be on the phones. Like taking them to an event was completely, they were not compensated for that type of thing. So they hated going to events. So if you've got a sales team like that, you don't want them anywhere near your planning.
Because they're not happy to be there.
Yeah.
Okay, last couple. Post-event follow-up handed off with zero context.
One hit wonder. Pointless.
Brand awareness as the only stated goal.
I'm unexpectedly probably going to say greatest hits.
I would agree. I think there's some events that are strictly brand awareness and they should be treated as such and measured differently than a demand gen or lead gen type of activity.
You're not muddying the waters, are you? You're not complicating things. You've got to... That doesn't mean you can't get additional wins, but at least you've got a single path forward.
Yes, agreed. Okay, last two. A sponsor logo wall with no integration or engagement. Like literally just a banner wall of logos.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, again, that's the hit that doesn't make the album. It's just... It's that song that you've produced that the band doesn't like and doesn't go anywhere. You've just wasted time and money.
Yeah. Events justified because we've always done it that way.
Oh my God. Oh.
For those that are listening and not watching, Martin literally just cringed.
Yeah, like there was a full squirm.
A full body movement.
Suggest that. So I think that's probably answers that one.
Yeah. That one doesn't make the album at all. We're not even going to record it. Amazing. Well, thank you for playing One Hit Wonder or Greatest Hits. And now it's time for my absolute favorite session, the Vent of the Week. Because sometimes the only thing tighter than a load-in schedule is our patience. So this is your safe space to let it out. Tell us what irks you about events, attending events, planning events, whatever it is. Tell us.
ROI at events, which like is becoming the big talking point of the year. And when we say ROI, I think like we're saying money. So, let's call it what it is.
Yep.
And I just think if you're reducing events to a money equation, you are just stripping off 90% of what events are good for. Like, if you want money from an event, you have to sell at the event. If you sell at an event, you're telling the audience this is not a safe space for them to come and bring their challenges, their goals, meet friends and everything like that. So, like, for their experience, it's going to be a 5 out of 10 at best. So that means they're not going to invite new people. They're not going to kind of recommend it to others. They're not going to recommend the organization. So you've kind of like, you've really honed in that short term and massively sacrificed your long term by doing it. And I just feel like, particularly LinkedIn, when we can't add context to those conversations, the ROI conversation drives me absolutely. Like one of my favorite things about producing events, and this is why I actually quite like virtual events, even though nobody's really doing them anymore, is like
I think they're coming back, though. I will say, I think they are coming back.
Yeah. But I like the friends that I meet with the speakers. Like I invited one particular person who's a former CMO who has ended up becoming we email every week about events, like where it's going, where it's been. We might potentially doing some collaborations together and stuff like that. And that relationship is really gonna, like, it's great for me. So I just feel like we can really miss out on things by just like, I just feel like money's like trying to hold on to water, right? It's like you can't grab it.
Yeah.
So
I agree with you. I think not every event should be measured the same. And I think there are some events that are simply buyer events and people go there and they buy and then they go home and they don't need all the thrills. But where events go to the next level is to your point of community. And you're not the first person we've had on the podcast to talk about the value of the speakers and the networking and the things that go on when you're speaking at events and the camaraderie that sort of comes with that. So I think it's a great event. We should do more and we should measure differently because not all events are treated the same.
Yes, well, that would actually lead into a second rant as well, is that we do talk about events as if they're all the same because it's such an enormous industry. Yeah. And I think, a good example who, is Julia Solaris, who's obviously a big influencer and talks about events a lot. And like, it's great content, but it's trying to encompass like such a big industry. And if you take it literally and then try to apply some of that into your own world, you might find it doesn't fit because Julia Solaris's expertise, from what I can tell, is a lot of the larger conferences. So if you're doing a niche less than 100 people, like it's a different game that you're playing. Yeah. So like it's a big industry with a lot of niches. So I don't have a solution for that, but I think that we do have a slight positioning problem by trying to speak about the whole industry all as one.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, well, those are good vents. So next up, it's time to event about it. The part of the show where you get to spill the tea on a memorable event moment, whether it was a huge disaster or a total success or simply pure chaos. We want to hear about it. You've been through a lot of events. You've had some crazy moments. I know you've got a couple good stories for us. So Martin, tell us.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, it's a fun thing having these kind of experiences that go wrong, because it's one of those industries where it goes wrong, and like if you can't do anything about it, it's like you just got to throw your hands up and just hope that something happens. I remember, I mean, this was a long time ago, but I was working from the UK on an event in Frankfurt, and just before the event started, the volcano in Iceland that has a huge long name that's impronounceable, that erupted into this massive ash cloud, and all of the flights, I don't know, like around the world, but certainly all the flights in Europe were grounded. So none of our, like loads of our speakers couldn't get into the venue. Loads of the attendees couldn't get into the venue. And I feel bad because I wish I could, like, every story should have a resolution moment. But I think that was so bad that I've almost blacked out what we actually did to fix it. I 100% don't remember. I don't remember what we did.
I'm sure there's some, like, trauma response to something like that. Where you're just like,
if you're thinking about getting into events, you know, get yourself a therapist. But another one, I think, similar vein was just an executive dinner in New York City where there was a freak snowstorm in April. Loads of the attendees could not even get into the city. So I was literally in a cafe all morning before the event, trying to I researched all of the office locations that are near the event and just started kind of like cold messaging people on LinkedIn. This was back when you didn't have restrictions as well. So I was cold messaging everybody in LinkedIn that was local to try and refill the event. And we got it to about 3/4 full.
Okay, well, that's pretty good.
Yeah. And then when we got there was kind of like this vibe of like, I don't know what the phrase is, but it's like we were there for this kind of moment, you know? And like it just created such a wonderful ambience at the event and the connection. And there was so much kind of laughter and connection at that event that would not have happened without this snowstorm. And I always think with an events career and events in general is the long-term play. And I often reference Guns N' Roses, right? Because I've seen Guns N' Roses 3 times in my life.
Wow.
Twice, they were really good. Really, really good. Once, they were awful. Axl Rose was properly on one of his...
I was going to say...
he was having one of his days.
He was on a bender.
He was having one of those days. And it just kind of makes me think, like, every band has a bad gig.
Yeah.
But notice that hasn't really stopped Guns N' Roses doing pretty well. Those occasional gigs, right? It's not stopped them. Like, if you're going to have an event that doesn't work out, and in the short term, in the moment, you're going to panic, you're going to worry, you're going to be like, oh, it's all over. It's all over. Business is over. The world is ending. It's not. It's really not. The next one will come very quickly and you'll smash it out the park.
Yeah. Well, these are 2 interesting stories because I think depending on when the disaster hits, impacts a lot of the follow through. And what I mean by that is these all happen early in the like load in process. So people couldn't get there versus let's just say the volcano erupted on the first day of the conference while everyone was already there. And you're like, well, show goes on because everyone's already here. We can't go anywhere. All the flights are grounded anyway. So it just goes on. Where it becomes chaotic is when everyone's trying to get to your location for said event, conference, whatever it might be. So that's where it gets tricky. And I'm hoping, I know you don't totally remember, but I'm hoping the venue worked with you on both occasions and be like, there has to be some kind of a force majeure for a volcano erupting and a giant snowstorm hitting, preventing people from getting to your event. So I would hope the venue worked with you.
Yeah, I wish I remembered, but I think we just kind of like worked with a lot of kind of like the local community in terms of the local community of the ICP that we were working with, and kind of like people bringing in friends, replacement speakers, and like adjustments to the schedule and things like that. I would imagine that would be what I would do.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, what would you do now? Like, if it happened now, like, what's your kind of first move?
I think the most important thing is like when stress hits, when kind of those difficulty hits, you can kind of go one of 2 ways. Whatever comes is going to be difficult, and you can choose to let that hit you and try to do it from a place of like frustration, anger, like, grit your teeth and kind of power through. Or you can lift your head up, puff your chest out, and kind of go at it through joy and happiness. And if you choose that kind of, I think people often think to do a serious thing, you have to be serious, but it's actually when you're feeling joyful and happy and excited, that's when the best solutions come. So I feel like instead of like going towards specific solutions for a specific problem, which could be any problem, you'd be much better like finding a way of finding that inner happiness, letting it shine, and your solutions will come to you a lot easier than they will if you're stressed, frustrated, angry.
Yeah, it's like trying to push through a writer's block. Like you're not going to write better if you just force it. Sometimes you have to take a step back and clear your mind to let better solutions come.
Are you a writer, Megan? Do you do a lot of writing?
I mean, these days, yes, I do.
Ooh.
These days I do.
For newsletters and things like that, yeah.
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 It's all part of content creation. I mean, I had to do a lot of writing to prep for this podcast and all the things that come before and after producing an episode. So it honestly has been a skill that I've been trying to flex more, and I'm glad I do it. I wouldn't say I'm very good at it, but thanks to AI, it makes it easier.
I studied creative writing at university, so like when I hear somebody kind of like talking about writing things, I'm like, tell me more, please, tell me more, let us talk.
I did read, we could get into this, some in the after show, but I did read a book recently about basically brain dumps every morning and how that spurs a whole creative process when you're just getting all of your thoughts out on paper in no rhyme or reason, just stream of consciousness, just write them down. And a lot of successes have come out of people just every morning filling pages of a brain dump.
Oh, yeah. I've heard it's quite good on a night as well to be able to do
Yeah.
that kind of thing because then you sleep better.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. But then, you can have thoughts on a night and in the morning. So why settle for just one?
Yeah. Well, I keep a notebook on my nightstand, and when my brain spirals, I will just get there and start brain dumping everything on paper to settle it for sure. Well, anyway,
Excellent.
total
Love it.
tangent, but thank you for joining this episode of Event About It. Martin, tell the people about yourself and where they can find you.
Oh my goodness gracious me. My name's Martin. I love Dungeons and Dragons. That's a whole different thing though. So no, I've been doing events for almost 20 years now, and I fell into it by accident, but I absolutely love it. I'm stuck here. Now, I couldn't get another job doing anything else, even if I tried. So I'm always open to talking about events, and particularly what they can do for an organization long term, as opposed to the short term. And you can find me, as always, on LinkedIn. I believe it's /Don't Fret Guys, because my last name is Fretwell, so it's very clever. And I'm always open to a DM to talk about events. I'm a big believer in giving your best stuff away for free, so ask me anything, anytime.
Amazing. Well, we'll be sure to link over to Martin's LinkedIn so you can connect with him. And that's all for today's episode of Event About It, where we connect events and marketing and prove that live experiences aren't just logistics, they're a growth channel. If this episode made you think differently about how events drive pipeline, brand, or growth, make sure you subscribe. That's how you'll catch what's coming up next, including the Event About It after show, where Martin and I get debatable about trade shows. And if you've got an event or a story or a moment from the field that deserves to be unpacked, you can always submit it at eventaboutitpodcast.com. Until next time, keep growing, keep laughing, and keep eventing about it.